So today was supposed to be a day of straightening out the whole yard. I did seed a lot of it, but last night's beautiful sunset kind of was too beautiful because it meant that tomorrow we were going to have a little bit of weather. At least it does here. So we got a little sleet going on, a lot of freezing rain, and it's time to come inside. I was actually going to work on the stone that I'm going to put along here and on the back here and kind of cozy this place up a little bit, but I'll get back to that once I get all these rocks drying off and I can mix some cement or some mortar. But the reason why I'm actually, I guess it's vlogging. Someone said I should be vlogging on YouTube. I thought that's what I was doing, but I guess this talking kind of stuff is more vlogging, I guess. I'm watching, like everybody is, like just from up here in my little cabin, where there really is no coronavirus. I mean, this whole county has have one or two cases, and I haven't seen one mask yet, any gloves. It's kind of life as usual up here, but we are way more rural. We're not on top of each other, which is, you know, something I've always thought of regards to people. I don't really believe we're meant to live on top of each other. I think we need a elbow room, the best of friends, the best of people who get along will find ways not to. But I've been looking, you know, connecting with people and staying, you know, on my little phone here and Facebook and YouTube and just kind of quietly monitoring the situation, especially back in the larger cities like Los Angeles. And it's kind of distressing because before this whole thing started, am I bothering you, Henry? Lay down. Before this whole thing started, I felt like we, as this country at least, like I've been all over the world, and it depends on the place, but there's different levels everywhere you go depending on how hungry the people are, and that's key here, hunger, not just physically but mentally, to make a better life. I feel like we've been losing our edge. We're quick to have an excuse versus a solution, where they're being offered excuses so easily by everybody, our teachers, our institutions, our politicians, our parents, God forbid, but yes. And so everybody's so ready to soften the blow of life. And I don't know who the hell started this life is not supposed to be. It's hard. I mean, life tries to kill you every corner you go around. And if you don't believe, just close your eyes and walk for 15 feet and see what happens to you. I mean, it's just not pleasant. Now, it's obviously a place, a thing that that's to be treasured. It's a gift beyond belief, but on one hand, it's trying to kill you. And I think we're losing that edge. So if we are going to come out of this thing after realizing that we've been able to sit on our asses for over a few months, and I don't just mean that because there are some people working really, really hard, but I mean it just general context of people are posting things that are kind of funny, but they're obviously spend hours and hours and hours on, like, maybe dressing up their dog as the Starship Enterprise. That was kind of funny, but they're getting to the point where I see posts where I'm now organizing my silverware. This is what we're resorting to. This is what we're using our time with. I mean, I know we're reaching out to family, and I know we're trying to hopefully help our neighbors out, and there are some people in our neighborhood, like even here, there's a woman up there on the hill named Ruth. She's over 85. She lives here full time. I make sure I check up on her and I ask her if she needs anything, and that's what we should be doing. I think that's the beauty of what's going on here. But I see a lot of complacency, a lot of I can get used to this. I don't really need to go back to work, and I think that our ability to become self-disciplined, our determination is just being washed away, just eroded. And of course, once that happens, then you need somebody, something, a Leviathan, to pick up the pieces and help us along. And I don't think that's the way I want to live. I'm fortunate enough to have this little place up here and just live and build and work until my photography career can restart again. Here comes the rain again. Something will have a metal roof up here. The weather, you can immediately hear it. So I got off track. So I guess the best thing I can do is because like to talk to people about like what do you do? I mean, like, how do you stay sharp? Like, how do you keep that razor's edge? And being a former athlete, or I guess you're always an athlete once you're an athlete, but all sports, and again, all of them from Little League baseball to the top of the highest you can go baseball, football, basketball, but the real teacher to me over time was when all those sports got kind of my muscles weren't wound as tight. My fast twitch muscles weren't twitching as. I picked up triathlon around 36, 37 years old, and so I think the best idea to kind of compare, like what we're losing, to somebody who could not swim, bike, or run, not only decide to do Ironman, but to place and not get sponsors. But I'm not winning. I'm not professional, but I actually found a way onto podiums, and I found a way to get sponsors from Claritin and I don't know, a bunch of other ones I can't remember, Aquifer, weird ones like that. But power bar, those type of things. But it's not about gloating. It's about how the hell do you get there. And I remember my first run. I woke up at 4:35 in the morning before work, and I thought I was going to do this like 20-mile run. I thought I had a heart attack after about 3/4 of a mile. My shoulders hurt. My back hurt. My legs didn't get a chance to hurt because I didn't run that long. I mean, I felt like I had cinder blocks, and I'm thinking, this is going to be ridiculous. And I have not been on a bike since I was a kid. Now, I don't know if you've ever been or seen an Ironman course, but they're fairly technical, and there's some serious hills up one thing, down another thing. Anyways, the swim, oh my God, jump in front of 2,000 people or try to stay in that mosh pit and come around those buoys and not get drowned or beaten up. I mean, it's daunting, but you have to take small little steps, and you have to, in life, when it's trying to kill you, you got to go on the offensive, and you have to have a methodical approach. So what I'm afraid of is people are so willing to throw their hands up in the air and say, "Oh, I'm not doing this. I'm 220 pounds. I'm not a triathlete build." It's kind of like if y'all was growing up, like I did in the inner city, and the schools were horrible, and all these things, and well, I really can't really study that hard because what's it matter? I mean, these teachers suck, and the books suck, and everything else sucks, or you could just let life roll over you. Well, triathlon's a different animal. It will eat you up and spit you up, and every time I know I needed to really push myself, I put a big race on the calendar, and I put it like 6, 7, 8 weeks out. The bigger ones, the longer ones, went 12 to 16 weeks out. But they have to build a base, and that means you have to dive into the emotional part of this, where you are going to ignore the excuses. I'm a little tired this morning. I got a little sore from yesterday. All these things that just keep barking in your ear, bang, 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 and it's like it's easy just to say, no one really will know if I just don't do it. And by the way, there's a good game on today, or there's a party tonight, and it changed my life. I learned to change my body from something that allowed me to explode, like fast twitch, where you could jump, you could stop, you could turn, and I had to turn it around to building a base of slow twitch and losing probably like 20, 25 pounds, but keeping the muscle, the strength that I had. So again, life, you get your job goes away, and you go to unemployment, and you get kind of comfortable, and you can say, well, I can just do mediocre and live in this little apartment and get a few roommates, and I can sit around and play video games all day. Or I can get mad and go harder and learn something, or bang on doors, shake hands, get out there, and really, really give it hell. Be hungry. The way I was in my 20s when I didn't want to be a lawyer. I wanted to be something more meaningful. I wanted to be something different. Or how my dad had to work 3 jobs to feed his family. No excuses. And how my mom also chipped in and went to work and brought back food in all kinds of unconventional ways. So, but life's not perfect. It's actually really, really tough. It's beautiful, but it's tough. So I wish people would start posting like what they're doing to come out of the gates like a freaking hungry lion. Hungrier than they ever have been. You've got a chance to reset. You got a chance to attack your issues where we never have that chance. When do you ever get a chance to sit down and reflect? Or most people, you come home, you got to feed the kids, you got to get the laundry done, you got to pay the bills, you have to work the next morning. It's over and over and over, and the weekends are a blink. So when do you get a chance to sit there and reflect and go, I think I can make a real difference here, and I think I can set aside all of this negativity and bring all of this fierceness back into my life and be hungry again. Getting back to the triathlons, it was the scariest thing I ever did because athletically, in some instances, just in life, because, well, first of all, it's not very good if you have a relationship, because to do the long distance races, you have to literally be a very deep, I don't know, I shouldn't say a narcissist, but you have to really, your time is before everybody else's. The way you eat, the way you train, you can't have a Saturday and you get up at 4 or 5 in the morning and go for a 120-mile bike ride, then go for a 2-hour run and then be all present for your family. That's just very tough to do. So I was just, I guess it's a really stupid word, but I have no other words for it. Fortunate? Well, my triathlon career was fortunate. I wasn't fortunate to be going through a divorce. So I was single at the time, and I had a lot of time on my hands outside of a really competitive work environment, which, took up all my time. But I found time before work. I would dress at work and go to either the gym, or I would get on my bike and bike for 3 or 4 hours before I even went home. I never went home until my workouts were done. And then my nutrition had to change. Every single calorie was counted. Everything was making me go forward. The alcohol stopped. Got fire going still here. Oh boy, that thing went down fast. So, long story short, it taught me all over again what it was like to be really, 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 really hungry, and to understand that the tougher something comes along, the harder it is to work through, but the more rewarding it is. So the excuses were all there. People look at me and think things come easy, and they don't. I just work really ridiculously hard behind the scenes. Really? Sorry, Henry's waking up. And the people around me I did not allow to give me those excuses. And my biggest claim to fame, no matter how much I hurt, is my favorite race ever was the Ironman up in Idaho. The I think it was the inaugural one in Coeur d'Alene. I picked it because now that I was 200 pounds and I was in decent shape, and I could carry my own weight, so to speak. I picked it because I thought, oh good, a nice cool place that I'm not going to overheat. Lake's real pretty to swim in, and blah blah blah. Well, we hit 100 degrees that day. The pros that were right in front of me out of the water, after the bike ride, I saw after they're about 2, 3, 4 miles into the run, they just detoured into the water and just said, I'm done. I never not finished a race. And in this race, I had 5 flat tires, and I had never had one before. I tried making up the time on the bike and on the run with finally 3/4 inflated tires. Hope that was thunder. Didn't sound good. Anyways, we have had some thunder and lightning here lately. What is that noise? Or it's a bear or a moose. Sorry. Never mind. I'm not going to sidetrack again. But the bottom line is, I actually came through that tunnel finally. That was my worst timing race ever, but it's the one I remember the most. I think it took me more than 13 hours to do, and I couldn't see peripherally. My dehydration was so bad, because I trying to make up my lost time. I went too hard, and I did it in the heat, and I did it with my body type, and then I started throwing up when you lose your electrolytes and you're sucking on chicken soup and coffee to keep you going. That's basically, it's all holding you together. So bottom line is, I did make it. It was really interesting though. My sister saw me on TV from Texas, and she said, "Oh my God, you looked amazing coming through there." Now, what she probably didn't see is them carry me into the medical tent with my feet off the ground, and I was under an IV for the next 20 minutes. But that last couple 100 yards, I never felt the ground. I never felt the sickness. I never felt anything. I just couldn't feel anything, but I did feel the exhilaration. I felt like $1 million actually. And so we're robbing that from our kids. We're robbing it from our citizens of this country. We're taking their dignity away. We're taking their ability for them to work really, really, really hard at something. It's all on you. And we are substituting it with, don't worry, a pat in the back, you're still the best, here's your trophy, and on you go, and put those on your shelf with all the other useless trophies. And then the experience goes away and nothing comes out of it. Nothing. So I just want people to recalculate and recalibrate who they are and find out what, even more importantly, they're capable of. Because you're capable. You're so capable. And stop letting people take that from you. Take back your life. Use this freaking coronavirus bullshit to launch you into a stratosphere that you never even knew existed. Get mad, get aggressive, and go after life before it goes after you. I appreciate you listening. Thanks. I'd love to hear your comments.